I think people are fascinated by the fact that there are people that are doing this, but I don't think anyone watches these videos and thinks, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to add 4 extra hours to my day.
I'm someone who has very fucking little time. But even I watch these videos and like how dewy and fresh and young and aspirational their skin looks in the morning once they've done their shed. I'm like, should I at least try and entertain half of this or a quarter of this? Or maybe I need a jaw girdle. Gravity's taken hold, baby. Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm Brittany and wildly offended, but let's continue.
No, well, you're not wildly offended, but something we do need to talk about.
No, stop.
Your face.
I will be in control of this conversation.
Don't you throw me under any buses 3 minutes in.
Don't you out my face. All right, let me break it down for you. It's peacock time. I'm going to see Ben.
Thought you were about to say it's PCOS time, and I was like, wow, have you got polycystic as well? Is this the first we're hearing about it?
It's peacock time. No, it is peacocking time. We know that happens about 7 to 9 days before I go overseas to see Ben, and I am going overseas next week, which I absolutely cannot wait. It's been 4 very long months.
It's really crept up fast, hasn't it? Like
for some, for you, maybe. It's been a slow drag to the finish line for me.
No, I just forget that we're like on holidays in a week and a half. We're only having a very short break. We haven't exactly figured out what's happening in that break yet. We'll still have episodes for you, but we're taking a week off at some point over Easter.
Yes. So I did start the peacocking, and for the first time in the history of my peacocking, it has not gone to plan. So things have gone pretty wrong in my life this past week. And it's not just the peacocking. I'm also pre-peacocking. It's a pre-peacock for the wedding as well. So like I'm a couple of months out from the wedding. So I've started that, and then I've upped the ante for Ben. So there's a lot of pre-peacocking. So I got, first of all, last week, I was getting a laser on my face. Not something new. I do it all the time. I love it.
Matt did say, he said it's been a while since Britt has posted a video of her in a clinic getting a facial done. He's like, is she good?
Is she all right? Well, no.
Because it's been ages since Britt's posted a facial.
I'm doing it behind the scenes, all right? I'm doing it behind the scenes.
He meant it sincerely. It was funny though. He meant it as in like,
so you guys talking about me behind my back
surely you're
now.
getting your skin wedding prep started. He was
one,
like,
Matt.
when's it happening?
Yeah, I've always been very supportive of Matt. Nice to know
Whose
how he
phone
feels.
is that?
So it's mine.
Yeah.
So I went to get this laser, which I always do, and she's blaming me. I'm blaming her, but she said that I moved. Now I know what you're thinking. No, I still have both. I still have both eyebrows. But she was like, "Oh, you're a wriggly little one," and I was like, "What have you done?"
You're like, I was completely still.
I was like, "Why are you saying I'm a wriggly little worm?" And she's like, "We've just nipped a little bit of the hairline there. You just moved a bit." And I was like, "Sorry, what? What did you nip?" She's like, bit of the hairline. It's okay. It's fine. And I was like, okay. So we kept going, and I could smell it. I could smell the burning hair. You know when you singe your hair? And I was like, you know what, Britt? Just sit through it. It's cool. Can't change it now. We'll deal with it at the end.
Receding hairlines are hot.
I wanted to be like you.
I wanted to be like you. You just want to be me, Britt. You want to lose some hair.
So anyway, we get to the end. Laser's fine, uneventful for the rest of it. And then she showed me my hair, and there's a circle the size of the laser that she just burnt off. It's gone. And now it's growing back. It's literally like you've shaved your head. So it's about 3 millimeters long. She's like, it's fine. It's not damaged long term. It'll grow back. I was like, I'm getting married really, really soon. And I'm going to have, a centimeter of hair on a patch poking out like a frullet. It's going to be a front mullet.
You're going to be a unicorn. But
literally. And I was like, bro. And she's like, you can just slip it down. I'm like, I don't want to slick it down.
I'll buy you one of those like clear mascara sticks that are used for like, slicking down your flyaways.
Is this why you wanted my clip-in fringe? To cover it?
I don't want to talk about it.
Can I ask though, because is the laser that you have in your face, does it work in the same way as like a hair laser? Will it actually grow back? Because I feel like sometimes lasers affect things in different ways than what you would expect.
It is growing back. That's the problem.
I can see it from here.
It is like 3 millimeters.
It's a bit bigger than that, but you can keep saying
Is
3
it?
millimeters. Yeah.
Oh, no, because it only got lasered off a week ago. So that means my hair's growing pretty fast.
No, sorry. I thought you meant the space. No, it goes back about a centimeter, but it's, it's 3 millimeters of hair growth. Got you.
No, it's deep. She's gone deep. I was a real wriggly worm, that one. So I'm a bit upset by that, but I might have to have a fake fringe or a slick down. In all honesty, if I didn't tell you, I don't think you would have noticed yet, but you're going to notice when it's about a centimetre of hair that just flaps out at the front.
This is what happens. This is the one thing that no one tells you about after you have a baby. Like everyone tells you that when you are pregnant, your hair stops kind of falling out. Your hair gets really thick during pregnancy. But then everyone says, oh, your hair will fall out once you have the baby, which it does. Like you have like really radical hair shedding because when you are pregnant, the cycle of hair shedding slows down. So you go through this massive hair dump, which everyone knows, but no one talks about when it grows back. And when it grows back, you just grow back with tufts all over your head. There's just like, it's like a crown of hair tufts.
Yeah, but you get the tufts and the baby. I just get the tufts.
That's true. Sorry.
And
yeah, the baby is the constellation prize to the tufts.
It's also a wedding. It's like I have never had a mishap and now it happens, but it gets worse.
That mishap is very small in comparison to the other mishap that has just happened.
Yeah. So strap in. 4 days ago, I went and got skin needling. I know it sounds like I'm getting a lot, but it's all been scheduled in. It's all booked in for however many weeks and months out.
It's planned. It's wedding prep, skin prep.
Also had this so many times over the last few years. I don't want to scare anyone by it. I have never had anything go wrong. It has always been great. I don't know what happened this time, but something's gone haywire. So I got it. A bit more red than usual, a bit more painful than usual. Usually it goes down that night. Nothing happens. Like you can go about your day the next day. You don't put makeup on, but it's like, it's
a little bit tender, it's a little bit red, but it's fine.
Not like one of those things that makes you hectic for 2 weeks.
And you're not getting super deep skin needling. No. It's like 1 millimeter. Yeah.
So something has happened. I don't know, some sort of a reaction, and my face, I don't even know what it looks like. It just had big red lumps that are so itchy over my whole face.
I'm going to be honest. You came to work yesterday and I was like, wow, you've done something. Got some laser.
You said, what's wrong with your face?
No, I said, what did you do? As in like, what treatment did you have done?
You're like, oh, why did you do that?
And I thought it must have been like a reaction to having laser. But when you told me you'd had skin needling, my instant response was like, it's a bacterial infection to the skin needling. Like something's been spread across the face. Maybe like the skin prep wasn't right.
Trying to cover it.
Or the needle might have been contaminated or it got contaminated afterwards. But like you're on some hectic antibiotics and some hectic steroids
Yeah, I think it was probably contaminated afterwards because I've never had a problem there. So skin needling is like lots of little holes in your face. You're supposed to keep it clean. If something does get in there, I don't know, maybe Delilah licked me. I don't know what it is. But that doesn't make sense to me because it is across my whole face.
Yeah.
And it's really red, angry, itchy lumps. This is day 5. I am now on hectic antibiotics. I'm on like a steroid cream, which is great. But guess what that gives you? Thrush. Guess who's going to see their fiance after 4 months?
You know that there's a cottage cheese shortage in the world. You'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He loves cottage cheese.
Sorry.
That was disgusting.
So bad.
That was actually rank.
So someone's turned off the podcast after that. Sorry to everyone.
I just feel like it's been a series of unfortunate events, but it is all under control. If Ben's listening, Ben doesn't even know this to this extent. So it is all under control. It is getting better. But I just thought, like, is this the world trying to say, fuck you? Like,
no.
Why is this?
No.
Maybe the world's trying to test you. Like, your relationship, you've always peacocked before you've gone and seen Ben. And you've kind of been like, I don't know if he knows what I look like when I look my worst.
He does
maybe,
now.
Maybe it's a test before the wedding. Better or worse, sickness and health.
The last awkward moment I had, this is completely on me. I don't know why I did it or said it. I was getting full body laser as well, like the hair removal, because I've been doing that for the last year. So it's like I get legs, Brazilian, underarms, butt. I just get the whole thing. I think the butt's called the Hollywood. We've spoken about it before. Where you got to lay in your tummy and pull your butt apart. Anyway.
You go in and you get a full service.
So I'm laying down, and if you haven't had laser, I'm just going to explain.
You can also thank your beautician because she already started on your hairline, so they've got less to do now.
Yeah, she goes, oh, I didn't know you were doing your hair. I was like, no, I wasn't. So when you lay down and get laser, I don't know if all machines have this, but my place does. So they have the laser and they hold it in one hand, and then attached to the laser is a tube that just blows hardcore air out, so that when the laser gives you a bit of heat, the air is simultaneously blowing.
Cooling it down.
So when she's doing my legs, she's going up my legs, and she gets to my vagina. And so she's doing the flaps, the lips.
The vulva,
sorry. Whatever. So she pulls one apart.
Just say she's doing my labia.
But it's not labia.
It's your labia majora, not your labia minora.
Yeah, it's majora, yeah. Okay, officially, she's doing my labia majora.
No, just say, okay, you can say flaps, but you're like, my lips, like, please.
Well, I don't know. What do people call it colloquially?
Lips are less full on than flaps.
Yeah, lips. The lip. Okay, she's doing my labia majora. So she's going up the labia majora, and as she does it, the cold air is blowing
Felt good.
100 miles an hour into my cervix, into my clitoris, and everything. And I just start. It's been a while. I start giggling nonstop. I can't. It's so ticklish, and I'm giggling while her hands and the air is down there. And she looks up and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "It's so ticklish what you're doing." And then I was like, "Why did I say that out loud?" I just stopped and I was like, "She's like, sorry," and I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "It tickles," and I'm like, "A little bit. I'm very ticklish." As she's like, her head and
You're like,
hand down
keep
it.
going, don't stop.
And then I realized what I was saying. I think you missed the spot.
A little bit to the left.
No, but I was like,
Oh, that's it.
it was my internal monologue. You know, when you say something and you're like, why did I say that out loud? And then she was only on the first lip. So then she had to go over knowing that it was tickling me. And then I was like, I don't want to say I was enjoying it. It's not like I was getting off. I wasn't. I want that to be clear. But the fact that I said out loud, like, oh, because I'm really ticklish. I'm a really ticklish person. And then she had to just commit to it. Then I had to flip and do the Hollywood. And it was
No,
the whole
you can never
thing.
go back there, ever.
No, I rebooked in for the next session. I was like, can I do another one tomorrow? Was that too soon?
I need to go. I've never had laser. I need to do it.
You need to go just so you know what we're talking about.
I need to do it. Although, I mean, mine will just, no, let's not talk about mine. It's fine. It's fine. Continue.
So
You don't want
anyway,
to say Majora.
I don't want to have to say Majora again.
so that has been my series of
Oh my
mishaps in the last 10 days, and I'm just beside myself. I just want to get there, but I will be there like a sphinx. I will be a hairless cat. On my head, on my everywhere.
Well, look, actually, this kind of leads us into what we're going to talk about on today's episode.
Does it?
Yeah, well, it does a little bit later on. We're not getting there yet, but I just kind of want to like preface it. It's coming. We're talking about the morning shed because I am getting absolutely reamed by the TikTok and Instagram algorithm at the moment, which I think it's having a very viral moment, this beauty morning shed that a lot of influencers are pushing, and we have some feelings and thoughts around it. But before we get into that, I've got some updates. So, I mean, you guys might know, you might have seen it on socials, and I talked about it a little bit last week. I opened my second ToniMay store. Yay!
It looks so good.
Well, we had
I
our.
would have thought I would have got more of a discount, to be honest.
You came in and took like a heap of free shit.
Didn't you
I
also
did.
post
It was
the store
free.
before it was supposed to be announced?
No,
How much disc you want me to pay? No, actually, technically, yeah, I should pay you to take it.
I did buy a lot the other night.
You did.
Yeah, I
You
was
did.
very supportive. Laura does give me free stuff sporadically, but I was like, I'm here to support you.
So we did it a bit different because so the Bondi store is our second one. We have a Paddington store, and the reason why this one was kind of cool is because actually, there's a whole story to it. I'll tell you that after. So the Thursday night, which was our official opening, instead of it being like an influencer event, I mean, I know you two technically count as influencers, but like you're
Do
kind of the
I?
only ones there.
We're also business partner.
Yes, I know. So instead of doing like an influencer
also
event.
friends.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, sorry, what?
Sorry, who are you? What's your name again?
Yeah, that makes sense as well.
Aren't we?
Oh, sorry.
Is this how I find
Did,
out?
did you share and tag ToniMay? Swipe up, swipe up.
Is this how I find
Yes,
out?
I did.
No, so what I was saying is normally when you have these kind of like openings, it's always like an influencer event. We didn't want to make it that. We planned it for our top VIP. When I say VIP customers, I mean customers that have been shopping the brand for 15 years.
Real
customers,
supporters.
Yeah, people who have placed, like one of the customers who came, her name's Liz. She flew in from Melbourne and she's placed over 100 orders over the last few years. Like she's incredible, right? And it's really is a testament to like one, how long the brand's existed for, but two, like how incredible some of the repeat long-term customers we have. So we were like, okay, how can we hero that? And we did that in the afternoon, and then we had family and friends come. But obviously I have some family and some friends that I'm just like, oh my God, take it. I don't want to take your money. That's uncomfortable. But then I have other family and friends where I'm just like, here's the family and friends discount because I can't give free stuff to everyone. So on the
Totally.
night, it was 30% off, and Britt was like, am I paying for this? No. You were so supportive.
No,
You were
I
amazing.
paid without asking because I wanted to pay.
You were amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is not about me. I just want people to think. I just want people to know I don't just get free shit from you.
But
I'm like,
I can say this because you can't say it. Britt also bought gifts for other people.
Yeah, you were
well,
very
I
generous.
didn't buy myself one thing that night, but I bought other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why it was really cool and like something, I mentioned ToniMay and we always have a laugh and I'm always like, swipe up, swipe up. But genuinely, the business now that I've had for 15, 16 years, and the reason why this was so incredibly special to me and sentimental and like really felt very full circle is because I started at Bondi Markets literally, I think it was 15 or 16 years ago. And I would fill up my car every morning when I was still working. I was working at the time for a hearing aid company called Starkey Laboratories, and I used to do all of their graphic design and stuff for all their new clinics, and like any like website or pamphlets and stuff that was going out, that was me.
And those hearing aid pamphlets were pretty choice when you were there.
Pretty high level pamphlets. Those brochures were brochuring.
The diamonds that you put on those.
But yeah, that was like my back life, and I was doing that Monday to Friday. And then on the Sunday, I'd pack up my car and I'd drive down there and I'd set up my little trestle table and my little tablecloth, and I'd lay out all my jewelry that I'd made during the week in the evenings. And I had my umbrella, and it was just like, it was such a fucking process doing the market. So I like feel for anyone who is still in the midst of that. It was a time I really took for granted, because every weekend my grandparents, which is what the name of the brand is named after, ToniMay, Tony and Shirley May, and I've spoken about my papa heaps on this pod, but they would get the train up every weekend with collapsible chairs, and they would come and they would sit at the store with me for
So wholesome.
So they'd get there at like 11 and they would stay over lunch so that I was able to go and get some lunch.
I'm like crying.
That's really
I was just like, oh my God, they must be so proud of you.
Yeah, it was really cool. I feel, now I'm going to cry.
Sorry.
I'm
really
not going to cry. I'm not. But I did cry yesterday, so my capacity's up. But that's really sweet.
It was really cool. And yeah, they used to come every weekend and they were just so supportive. And even though like my nan came from that generation, which was like, you don't have your own business, you work, you have job security, she hated that I quit my job and that I started doing ToniMay full time, because she was always so worried about how it was going to end up.
Which is fair.
But was also incredibly supportive. Like she never shat on it. She was always like, you know, she was always my number one fan, but she was just worried all the time. You know, it was something that she kind of constantly fretted about. But we have been on the wait list for a shop in Bondi for 7 years. So, and the reason for it is because when you think of some of these high streets, like I think it's actually called High Street in Melbourne, in Bondi area, it's Gould Street. There's loads of them around the country where, you know, in Paddington, for example, there's Glenmore Road. So you probably know, like if you live in a metro area, there's probably an area where like it's really cool shopping, like all of like your favorite brands, or like slightly like upper class brands like Sir the Label, or like your kind of cool Zulu Zephyrs and stuff. They have shops there. And the way that those areas usually work is that you don't just apply for a lease and get a lease when you're a new business. You have to put in a tender. So you have to actually like present what your brand is, what you're going to invest in renovating the store, like what your annual income is. Like you have to really pitch who you are and what you do.
They try to keep a standard. Because they're such tourist hotspots too. So they're trying to keep a standard.
Which is why we've waited for so long, because we've applied and gotten knocked back several times. So like it was a really huge achievement to get to a point where the brand itself was recognized as being good enough to sit alongside some of these other brands. So yeah, it was a really big and exciting night. And I'm just like, you know, sometimes you run from like one thing to another thing to another and you don't have any time to just like stop and appreciate it.
Our whole lives,
100%. And it's one of those things where if I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine on the weekend. I caught up with him. We're both from Newcastle, little kids that started in radio together. He is performing in Titanic, the show.
Oh my God, that's
on.
amazing.
It's amazing and he's fantastic. And
I was supposed to go see it, but then my face broke out.
You absolutely should. It's really funny. But we had this conversation where we were kind of sitting across from each other because he was about to go and do 2 shows that day. And I was like, could you have imagined telling little, I won't say his name in case he wants anonymity, but could you have imagined telling the little version of yourself that this is where things would be? And like, it's just so the same for you. Could you imagine telling that girl who was hustling her ass off, trying to create this kind of different brand? Like there weren't many jewelry companies that were doing the type of thing that you were doing. And in 15 years, you'd be getting one of the shops.
Yeah, it was low and long slog.
Like slow and long. But like, instant gratification doesn't happen for things that are really purposeful and that kind of thing.
Totally. And I think we all live very busy lives. Like, our lives are no different to anybody else's in terms of the busyness. Like it is something that every single person has to deal with. And it is so easy to not validate or like spend time in your achievements or celebrate them and just move straight on to the next thing, because so many of us are kind of caught up in that hustle culture. And it was probably the first time from a ToniMay perspective in a long time where I was like, I feel really proud of this. And it was exciting.
Really fucking cool. And it's a huge achievement. And we see from the outside how hard you work and how much hustle there is to get to where you are. And we're not saying this to glorify it, but it's really hard to grow any business, especially like when you're doing other businesses and your mum. And it was an amazing store, an amazing opening. And
Come
I
and
think
visit us.
it's the first of many. But it's actually really cool too from my perspective. So 2 stores down from you is Zulu and Zephyr, like you just said. So now I was looking at it when I was at your opening. I was like, how cool is this? So Zulu and Zephyr are some of my best friends. The 2 girls that own that, they're sisters. We have gone to school together since we're 5 years old. They're coming to my wedding. Exactly the same story as you. They started at Bondi markets. They would go down. I would go down and help them. They just grew from nothing into the juggernaut that they are. And I had this moment where I was looking, I was like, wow, like ToniMay is here on this high street in Bondi. 2 stores up, my other friends that have just worked so hard to get there. I was like, this is really a really cool thing to see people in your life absolutely kicking goals.
Yeah, and this is the amazing thing, right? I mean, we'll wrap it up in a second. Bondi markets and so many markets across Australia have created incredible brands.
Samantha Wills?
Samantha Wills started at Bondi markets. There are genuinely so many. Arms of Eve, which is a great jewelry label that's taking over Australia at the moment. They also started at Bondi markets. There's so many. And like, it's kind of amazing that something that's so humble, like being a marquee, which is what we used to refer to ourselves as back in the day. I was a marquee, everyone. That it really can be the platform for so many people. And I think it is the reminder that if you have a small business or you have something that you're wanting to do, just getting started. You don't have to have it perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. Just having a store, getting an income in, getting an understanding of like what people like, what people are receptive to is like the most incredible way to product test your market and to start just to get started.
But I think the other thing to note there is too, yes, exactly what you just said, but also this is evidence that it does not happen overnight.
No,
like
no,
it is, it is. It's been 15 years in the making to get to where you are now, and obviously
Totally.
you've had success before this.
But also, I know I had like an incredible privilege of like
The Bachelor.
and like all that brings in terms of notoriety. And,
me being a
and,
business partner.
and coming into Brittany's orbit. So
But actually,
I'm forever grateful.
The funniest thing was, well, I don't know if it's funny. There's a couple of funny things, but I didn't know that that you weren't launching that shop. And so I was trying to be a really good friend. So
You mean the week prior?
Sorry, the week prior, I was like, I'm going to be the best friend. I didn't know it was Secret Squirrel for another week. So I like went down to the street, took all these photos, put the links up, put the store up, shouted Laura out. And it was the way you reposted, I think, because I think you were already like, oh, it's out there. But the way you reposted it and you said, I can't remember what you said, but you said something like, oh, I wasn't going to do this yet or something. And I wrote back and I was like, hang on. I was like, was I not supposed to do this? I thought I was being like a really great friend and I just blew the launch.
I was like, cat's out of the bag, we're open.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. I can delete it. 100,000 people said. I was like, oh, well.
In celebration of the absolute monstrosity that is Married at First Sight coming very shortly to an end, I watched some of last night's episode where it was like quite a spectacular dumping that happened.
Yeah, it was the ultimate.
It was the ultimate. Okay, so we thought, why not chuck in a little confessionals?
Yeah.
And get all your dirty, dark secrets, anonymously, of course, and then air them out to you.
Every time we do the confessionals, because we only do it sporadically, I always wish we did it more often. Because I'm like, I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
To be fair, though, we got lesser than this time. And I think it's because last time I said, like, you guys know that you're anonymous, but not to us. Like, we know who you are, which is fine. We would never tell anyone. We listen and don't judge.
Hand on heart.
Sometimes I judge.
No. Hand on heart. I can honestly say I could put my life on anything. I do not click on one person's profile that writes, to me, they are anonymous. I do not look at who you are ever, and I can promise you on my life.
That actually is correct. I don't look at people's profiles. I just screenshot. I don't even screenshot. I literally just type it down. So like,
Totally.
I see your handle, but I don't care to look.
Same.
Keisha's like, I look.
Keisha, you're not selling it.
Guys, send us your confessionals because honestly, they're hilarious. And I think that they're really like, what's the right word I'm looking for? Like the really unifying part of this is that it
Galvanizing is a
the
word.
really
you used to
I
love.
was trying not to use it then. That's what I was.
Laura has been thesaurusing after some feedback.
Yeah, I've been told, guys, that the word galvanizing is out.
And
But-
also triangulate.
and triangulate is also out.
People play word bingo, actually.
Guys, fuck off.
Laura hasn't triangulated in a while.
Okay. The thing that's really galvanizing is the fact that we're all a little bit fucked up and we all have things to confess and we have all done cooked things in our time. Some of them are not as bad as this, but a lot of them are pretty bad.
Some are really cute, though, and innocent. I don't mind those ones. We might read a few of those ones.
Okay,
later.
I have a non-cute and innocent one. I mean, it's innocent, but it's just a bit like maybe you need therapy. Here we go. Let's kick it off. I used to use my mum's vibrator.
Ew! Why? No, stop it. It's so unnecessary.
Well, maybe she was young and she didn't have one and she found a mum's and she was like, I'll give that a crack. Yes, it's unnecessary. I would agree. Would agree.
Unnecessary. It's a strong no from me.
Okay.
I mean, you use the same fork.
Sorry, where's the similarity?
Keisha,
What?
I don't know what you do with your forks, but
I would rather use a cucumber than my mum's vibrator,
okay.
which is also from the kitchen.
I mean,
free.
would you put it back? Would you wash it off and use it in a salad?
You probably go. Chop
All
it
right,
up. Okay.
let's go next.
All right. My ex's new girlfriend came into the cafe that I was working in, so I spat in her smoothie.
Oh, no, that's
Also
not
unnecessary.
okay.
You can't. Oh, well, I was going to say, she didn't do anything, but she might have. They might have been cheating or something.
It doesn't matter. That's absolutely overstepping a line. One, it's a place that you work.
But
so
no,
like
no judgment because we said no judgment.
Oh,
but
sorry,
like,
that's right.
don't spit again.
Okay. I was on my dad's phone and I saw nudes of his boss's wife. He's having an affair
With his boss's wife.
with his boss's wife. What do you do? What's like the outcome here?
That's a power play.
Do you say something to your dad or do you just, I think you let that go.
No. Dad, snooping on your phone, saw nudes, and it was your boss's wife.
Yeah, but like maybe dad's single. Maybe dad is able to make terrible decisions and choices for himself. I'm not going to get involved if my dad's fucking his boss's wife. Dad, that's your problem. You're a grown man.
Maybe dad's also fucking his boss. You don't know.
Definitely not.
Could be consensual.
I don't think,
Yeah.
regardless of consensual or not, you're not going to sit down with your dad over like beef stroganoff and be like, hey, Dad, so those nudes are pretty hot.
I think
Like-
that there are things in life you just don't have to concern yourself with. And this is one of them. Like your dad is making decisions for himself. You just see that stuff and you just move on with your life.
100%. You
To another
pretend
country.
it doesn't happen.
All right, here's one. If my husband ever leaves pee on the floor, I wipe it up with his towel and I hang it back up.
I support that.
Yeah.
Why is there piss on the floor?
That's exactly my point.
I'm
if you
so
have if you live
confused.
with a grown man who is urinating and he can't aim and get it in a toilet and he leaves the piss on the floor for you to clean up, I'm all for you doing it with his towel and hang it back up.
Do his toothbrush.
Oh, that's a bit far.
Too far. Okay. I shat myself on the first day of my new job, so I just chucked my undies out of my car window onto the street.
I once shat myself when I was working in the shop years ago. Please come into ToniMay still.
It was in the Bondi store.
No, it was in
the marquee.
It was in Westfield. It was in Westfield. And I just thought it was going to be an innocent little toot and it wasn't.
You
and I-
shattered.
And I had to throw my underwear in the bin.
How
and
much
then
came out?
enough for me to be horrified. Horrified. And I've honestly never told anyone this until now. So this is therapy for everyone. I just remember being like, dude.
Well, you felt it or you smelt it?
No,
Or you dealt it?
all of the above. All of the above. It was like a horrifying moment. I full shit myself standing in my own shop and then had to like
Were you
run
the
to
only employee?
Yeah, I was the only employee, but it's an open kiosk store. I
Yeah,
was
but so
just
you-
standing in
But
Westfield.
at least you were at Westfield. I
So
mean, you
did-
could have been in like a standalone shop where there weren't any underwear stores around.
Yeah, my store used to be directly across from Cotton On Body, so it was very convenient at the time.
You put a sign up when you're the only employee. It's like, sorry, out to lunch, back in 5. We like shat myself, back in 5. BRD.
Okay. All right. I've been having sex. This one is absolutely wild, guys. Strap on in. I've been having sex with my sister-in-law for 4 years and she is married to my brother. So they are having like a same-sex relationship, but her sister-in-law is married to her biological brother.
Do you reckon the brother knows? Because that's so.
No.
So she's
the
fucking her
brother does
brother's
not know.
wife.
Yeah, she's fucking her brother's wife.
Oh my God. Imagine if you found out that your wife was cheating with your sister.
That's like a double betrayal because
That-
siblings are supposed to support each other.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. This was a profile I felt like I wanted to click on, but I didn't. But I would love to know, and then I would love to go and find the sister too. I just wanted to put all the pieces of the puzzle together,
No, but we don't do that on air.
and we don't
No,
judge.
we don't do that.
Can I read you the next one?
Sure, go double whammy.
Okay, this is my last one. When I was 17, me and my friend drove past my ex's car. I knew that he rarely locked it. I did a poo and I left it on his passenger seat.
What? She took a dump on his seat. You guys are proper cooked.
It sent me.
I wonder what the planning of this was. Were you just driving past and at the time you realized you needed to shit, or did you deliberately plan your shit
Nah.
for the driving time?
Like
I-
you specifically had
Yeah.
Mexican chili.
two
like,
coffees on the way.
I reckon, I don't think that this is opportunistic. I think you know that your ex-boyfriend doesn't lock his car. It's parked in
premeditated.
the driveway and you were like, I'm going there at like under the cloak of darkness.
Oh, imagine if
you
he
did a
doesn't
shit
have.
in a takeaway container and you dropped it in his front seat. I
Should have had a
reckon
dash cam.
No, surely it's not. Surely it's is not in a takeaway container. I think she just did it on the seat.
You're not doing it straight from the source.
Dude,
You're not-
if you're shitting in your friend's car, in your ex's car, you're not going to say, oh, you know what? I will make it easy for the cleanup. I'll put it in a takeaway container. It's on there.
Oh, no, you're tipping it in. You're not
I
leaving
thought you meant
it.
she just put it in a takeaway container.
I just imagine that she just backed it out onto the seat.
That's what I reckon. I reckon it was a straight evacuation.
The reason why I think that that's not the case is because there's more potential to get caught. Like the longer you're in there in the scene of the crime. So I think if there was a bit of planning. Also, guys, like you can do this. If this is something, have you been cheated on? Here's a new way of getting back. Just go shit in their car.
It is wild to me what people do. Like this one, for example. I'm 19 and still pick my nose and eat it.
I reckon there's heaps of people who do that.
Heaps.
I reckon
Do you?
heaps. Absolutely
No, sometimes I'll
not.
in the shower though. Just if there's stuff on the sides, I'll do that. And
Oh, I'll
get it
pick
out.
my nose, but I'm not
Yeah.
eating it. There's like that's like a step too
Keisha,
far.
is there anything you want to get off your chest?
I went to shit in my ex's car yesterday.
To be fair, I have one ex who I'd probably shit in his car. If I knew I could get away with it.
You could get away with it, except now that you've said you're.
Imagine the Daily Mail article. Laura Byrne shits in ex's
Do you
car.
know what I worry about now? There's too many cameras.
Yeah.
There's street cameras, front porch cameras, dash cams. There's so. Imagine if you got caught and they released it. If you pulled your pants down in your exit. First of all, it's break and enter.
Well,
Then
remember
you were
the poo
taking a
jogger?
dump. Yeah.
The poo jogger did get into a lot of trouble because there were so many cameras. They kept shitting on someone's doorstep that had a camera.
Remember, didn't people think it was Roxy Jasenko?
No,
Was
they,
it her house?
no, they never thought it was. Don't spread rumors, Britt. Roxy Jasenko was the victim of a poo jogger
I'm glad I got that one mixed up.
who kept shitting near her PR offices. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Something that I have been trying to talk about for the last couple of weeks, but I kept getting sidelined, is my algorithm. I've been getting spat out something that is increasing, and now it has become well and truly cemented in my feed. And I know that, Britt, you've also started to be fed this. I don't know, Keisha, is this something that's happening in your life?
Definitely not as much as yours.
I think it's trending. I think everyone's getting fed them now.
Okay, so this is like what we're talking about is the morning shed routine. Now, very famously in the last couple of days, a lot of media have been talking about a guy called Ashton Hall who does the 5-hour routine. And his is around fitness. So it's around like prepping himself for the day. I would be lying if I know the intricacies of this because I'm not across it fully.
Oh, he wakes up at like the crack of dawn. He goes outside on his balcony and does 100 push-ups. He does this whole skin thing, nose thing, breathing thing.
He also dunks his face in an ice bowl of water
For inflammation.
3 times.
So his morning starts at 3:50 and it finishes at 9. That's when he's like ready for the day, prepped for the day.
That's over half a day of a work day and he's just ready for it. It's crazy.
Now, lots of people have already unpacked this. This is not what I want to talk about, but it does go to show that these morning routines are getting a lot of airtime recently. The morning routine that I am being fed is more of a beauty shed. It's a TikTok trend. So it has come about increasingly so recently that this beauty shed trend, which is showing very prominent influencers waking up with layers as though they're mummified. And I'm talking everything from jaw girdles to hydro masks to eye patches.
What's a jaw girdle?
It's a girdle for your jaw. Exactly.
Like for a double chin?
No, it's meant to like you kind of attach it around your ears and it's meant to like hold your chin. I think you can get 2 kinds, or I don't know if it's like it could be for 2 reasons. One is that it keeps your jaw shut, so it's meant to encourage nose breathing.
Okay.
And the other is that some people reckon it makes your jaw look more snatched.
Yeah, like holds the double chin up.
Yeah, and kind of like, holds the bits in and teaches them to not sag.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my
it's to
God.
defy gravity. I mean, all of this is around like the outrageous standards that there are in order to like prevent aging. And also there's been some research that's been done into the fact that we age during the night and as we sleep, purely because of the positions that we sleep in. So wrinkles can happen, gravity happens. And I guess like there's some very prominent influencers who are the ones that are leading the charge in this. There's this one woman named NP Miranda, who we both follow. One of her morning sheds has over 15 million views on it. We'll pop it on socials so you guys can see. But I am partly intrigued, fascinated, slightly envious. And then the other side of me, I cannot get my head around it. And I just don't understand how we keep evolving into these new standards of absolute absurdity when it comes to the beauty industry and what it is that we need to do to maintain as women in order to like prevent, God forbid, aging.
What are the things that she's doing in her videos?
Each of them is slightly different, but I'll just talk through like some of the things that she speaks about in her like several hour morning routine. Several hours of this. So she wakes up and she is like mummified. There is layers upon layers. And the theory behind it is the uglier you go to bed, the more beautiful you wake up in the morning, right? So here are some of the things. She does the ice face water, the same as what we just discussed. She does tongue scraping. She has a navel patch that she wears. So she wears this like a sticky thing over her belly button, which stops any wrinkles on her stomach. So it's not just face, it's a full body thing.
That's wild.
It also has castor oil in it, which is meant to help with digestion and bloat. She wears a silk bonnet. She has a silk hair wrap. She has a jaw girdle. She wears an overnight hydro face mask. She wears eye masks. She has a breast pillow pad, which stops her breasts from having any crease between them.
She got a link for that?
She then know some big boob girls.
Goes and use a vibrating plate to help with lymphatic drainage.
I thought you were going to say the morning routine. She goes and uses a vibrator. I was like, get it, girl. That one I can get behind.
Wellness is important. She has mouth tape on. Then she goes and talks through her collagen supplements that she uses and also all of the other types of like oils and lotions and potions and vitamin C's and serums that she has on her face is like a whole separate part of her skincare routine.
I'm tired thinking about it.
But this is just it, right? So the interesting thing to me is like she kind of shows like her routine in the morning. She's 3/4 of the way through and then her husband, who's clearly just gotten out of bed, moseys on over, gives her a kiss on the cheek and goes on with his day. And I'm like, why is it that we have to do this now as women? Do we have to get up an extra hour early? Are we supposed to be implementing any of this?
I'm not convinced that people, I know that these are trending videos and reels and they're getting 15, 20 million views. I'm not convinced that anyone is influencing people to do this. I think people are fascinated by the fact that there are people that are doing this, but I don't think anyone watches these videos and thinks, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to add 4 extra hours to my day. Not only that, but the expense that would cost. Like every product that she puts on at night, a face mask every night, eye mask every night, that all costs. That all costs money. It's not like it's just something where you wrap your hair up in the same silk cotton thread thing for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, but it's not just the cost. I think the thing that really gets me is like the time deficit. As women, we waste and have to spend so much time on our appearance in order to prevent, God forbid, any sort of movement or gravity or anything that could like, you know, increase aging. And I also think, yes, I do agree with you, Britt. I'm like, absolutely. I actually don't think that many influencers are sleeping like this. I know that mouth breathing and tape and all this stuff is kind of really getting a moment in the spotlight. But the problem is I look at it and I'm someone who has very fucking little time to care about any of this stuff. Like I am as low maintenance comes. Sometimes I wash my feet in the sink, guys. Like we all know.
But you did that even when you weren't busy.
But this is true.
You've done that for years.
I am a low maintenance galley. I haven't been to the hairdresser in... I've been once a year, like to the point where I'm like probably could put a little bit more effort in. But even I watch these videos and like how dewy and fresh and young and aspirational their skin looks in the morning once they've done their shed. I'm like, should I at least try and entertain half of this or a quarter of this? Or maybe I need a jaw girdle. Gravity's taken hold, baby.
I think I'm trying to play devil's advocate here because I have a couple of things that I like to do at nighttime and I tell myself it's because it's meant to help with sleep. Like I'll lay on my Shakti mat. I've been spraying magnesium, you know, that Salt Lab magnesium spray on my feet because it's meant to help with sleep. I have this spray that's called This Works and I don't know whether it does or not. It's like a lavender spray that's meant to encourage restful sleep. Sometimes I'll do the little massage ball and I'm kind of like, oh, this is a nice moment of self-care. You know, like I'm putting a little bit of time. It'll only be 10 to 15 minutes or whatever.
I think that's different though, because that's about your relaxation and also helping you get a good night's sleep as opposed to trying to wake up beautiful.
Yeah, but I wonder if maybe like there is a bit of a crossover. I wonder if there's a bit of a crossover of women kind of going, oh, these are the things that I do at nighttime to kind of like make my morning quicker. You know, I used to use them quite a bit. I haven't used them for a little while actually, but face tan drops because it gives you a bit of color to your skin. So I find that in the morning, if I have that, I don't have to put foundation on. Similar to getting like eyelashes or eyebrows done, it kind of takes out that step in the morning.
Well, this is the thing that I find really interesting is that it definitely is straddling 2 different trends. One is obviously like the beauty industry, which, you know, we can talk about all day around the problems and issues that align with like the expectations of women. But the other is that it's straddling this type of wellness trend and that the way that it's being positioned throughout TikTok and social media is that it's you clawing back time for yourself. It's you doing something that makes you feel good good about yourself. But I don't know. I kind of call bullshit on that.
I call bullshit because it's not clawing back time for yourself. Keish, you just said you do it to make your morning routine quicker. You put your 10 drops on so you lose a step in the morning. This is adding hours of time to somebody's day in the morning. I don't know many people that has the time, energy or money to be doing that. I also think that if you went and looked at all of these comments on these trending videos, a lot of it would be outrage. A lot of it is not like, oh my God, can you link that product? Or like people are saying.
But I am interested in the boob separation thing. That would be
Well, no, this is the thing though, right? They're trying to say that it's actually meant to reduce effort. So it's meant to be passive. So instead of you having to go and get your facials and do all these other things, it's like, do the prep pre-going to bed so that the work is done while you're asleep. And then literally
rubbish.
all you're just taking off the layers in the morning.
I would rather go and get a facial once a month than add 4 hours to my beauty routine in the morning. I will wake up as late as – now, I love skin, right? You know that. I actually really care about it. I make sure I use great products. I make sure I don't go to bed with makeup on.
Your skin looks great at the moment, Britt.
Besides the lumps on my face right now, this is a one-off. But I do have nice skin because I look after it.
Yeah, you
I
do.
will say
You
that.
genuinely do.
My skin is great because I genuinely care about it, but you do not need to be putting 4 hours in every single morning. Like as long as you have a really nice skincare and you go to bed with no makeup on ever and you are looking after it, you don't need to be doing this 4 or 5 hours a day. And I hate that people are being sold that. And like as much as I can laugh about it, I was telling Keisha before, but I have a product that I put on my chest at night. I'm a side sleeper. And now people may or may not know this, but like hands, neck and chest are your first parts of your body to age and to show signs of aging. Hands are because they're always in the sun, whether you're driving, walking, whatever, your whole life.
Mine's my neck for sure. 100.
Yeah. And so neck and chest age really quickly. Now, if you're a side sleeper like me, I have slept on my side every night of my life. Your chest creases and that's why you get wrinkles quicker because you're on your side, it wrinkles all night and it just happens quicker. So I bought this thing. It was on like Shark Tank years ago. It was a real startup.
I know what you're talking about. It's a silicone pad that you lay on your it's a reusable silicone pad that stops your décolletage from wrinkling.
So you can get it for face. There's loads of different areas and it shapes that body part. So I got it for my chest. You reuse it. You just peel it off, put it back onto its sheet, use it at night. So I use that at night. You don't notice it's there, but it takes 2 seconds of prevention the night before. Like I put my skincare on, slap it on my chest and go to bed. And I actually think that really works.
Yeah, but this is one step of this, right?
Totally.
Like, it absolutely, like, I get you. I get what you're saying. And I know that you're like, hey, people will pick and choose the bits and parts.
Yeah.
But like, you're already doing a version of what this shed is. Obviously, people like NP Miranda, who are like leading the charge on this, are doing a very extreme version. But I do think that over time, these things are going to creep into our beauty routines. And it might be very extreme at the moment, but beauty pads, overnight face masks, eye masks, like chin girdles, this shit, I guarantee you in the next 5-6 years, it's going to become way more common. And also it already is. So many people are mouth taping because there's so much conversation around mouth breathing versus nose breathing. Every second ad on Instagram is the magnets that you can put in your nose to open your airways.
My boyfriend's been using them.
It's just the conversation around health, wellness and beauty is starting. And I know it's always been overlapped, but the overlap is becoming far more severe.
I think it's also wild that they've almost run out of things that they can market to you when you're conscious. So now they're actually marketing products to us when we're unconscious as well. Like, it's crazy.
I don't have a problem when the things like mouth taping and nose taping and things like that, when there's science behind the fact that it can help someone sleep, if you are having problems sleeping, if you have sleep apnea, if you're a snorer, there's a lot of reasons that scientifically or medically that is backed. I don't have a problem with that at all. I know a lot of people that do it and swear by it and it's changed the way that they sleep. My problem is when it's being sold to you to wake up beautiful. As a woman, you have to have this 4 hours of prep, this 4 hours of unshedding, of taping your jaw. If that is something problematic for you and you want to pick and choose, I don't have a problem with that either. Like, you know, I just said I do my chest thing for wrinkles. Takes me 2 seconds. It's in the morning, you peel it off. So it's not changing my life in terms of my time. If you want to pick and choose things for you, that's great. But I hate the idea of anyone potentially being sold the fact that women need to spend 4 hours a morning to be successful and beautiful, whereas man wakes up and gets on with his day.
Well, no, that's where I think it is interesting because I do think there's still a gender disparity. I do still think we're still seeing morning preps for men. They just look very different. They circle around fitness, wellness, around mouth breathing, but there's just a difference between how it's gendered. For women, it's around beauty. For men, it's around strength and wellness. And so like that to me is an interesting take on it. The other thing that it kind of reminded me of is when I did the project last year, was it last year before? I can't even remember. But before Lisa Wilkinson left the project, we did one of the shows together and we were sitting in the makeup chair having a conversation around, kind of started off around like how much time has to be put into makeup, like as in like you literally have to get there so early and takes so long.
Especially if you're not doing the morning shed.
But it also kind of turned into a conversation around pay disparity. So something that Lisa Wilkinson said is she was like, oh, you know, what doesn't get taken into account when it comes to women's pay, especially in media, is how much time we sit in this makeup chair and we sit getting our hair done. And so from memory, and I don't want to quote the timings wrong, but if you're on the project as a woman, you have to get there at 11 a.m. in the morning. The show doesn't start until, 6 or 7 p.m. at nighttime. And the reason that you get there from that early is because you also have to do all the prep for the day. You've got to understand what the content is. But then you sit in a makeup chair for 1.5 to 2 hours while you get your full hair done, your full makeup done. And when you think about people who are in that position every single day, the women have to sit there and get it all done. The guys just come in, get a touch up. So they get to do an hour and a half less prep, essentially, than what the women do. And this is not isolated to the project by any means. This is every single female reporter, anybody who works as a woman within this industry. And I know that your thought might be like, well, why don't you just say no? Just don't get it. Just don't go on there with makeup.
You won't get the jobs.
You won't get the jobs.
Yeah.
The expectation is as a woman, you present in a certain way, especially within media. If Sarah Harris or Lisa Wilkinson sat on that desk without a full face of makeup and their hair done perfectly, people would be like, she looks like a mess. You know, the feedback for taking that time back would be so negative. But there's no additional payment. There's no additional remuneration for the amount of time it takes to just be a fucking woman.
Even like Dancing with the Stars, I've recently experienced it, and I know you have, Laura, too. You don't think about it, but your call time is always earlier than the men or your male partners because, the men on Dancing with the Stars do wear makeup to an extent, get some concealers, or maybe they're getting their face painted in a way, but your call time is always far more extreme and far earlier than anyone else because you are sitting in the chair for hours. You're getting wigs and hair and makeup and glam. And having said that, I loved it. I loved experiencing that because I got to do makeup and hair that I would never do.
Yeah.
But it still goes to show you that it's always going to be the case with women.
But it's hours and hours of unpaid labor. And I know that kind of deviates a little bit, but it does. I guess the link in here is that like the expectation for women to put so much more effort in for dates, for their morning shed, for their nighttime 5-step, 10-step, whatever the step routine is. There's already such a deficit of time that we lose out on.
Going back to this guy that's trending for his 3 a.m. wake-up call, 5-hour routine, there's always been this story about how to be uber successful. And a lot of mainly men have gone to say that to be successful, we get up at 3:30 or 4 a.m. I'm talking about the CEO of Apple, Mark Wahlberg, who starts his routine at 3:45.
I think there's always been an obsession with famous and wealthy people's morning routines and how they set their day up in order to be millionaires or billionaires.
Well, what I wanted to say is the Sydney Morning Herald did an article running on successful people that get up at the crack of dawn to be at their work by 9 a.m, have already worked out, have meditated, have done whatever.
Yeah, they're insane morning routines.
Yeah, they've said here, Jennifer Aniston rises at 4:30 to chug a mug of hot lemon water while Michelle Obama wakes at that hour to work out.
So they also, in the article, put Mel Robbins, they put Tim Cook, who is the CEO of Apple. He gets up at 3:45 a.m. And so under all of these people in this article, they also included our very own Australian Jane Liu. So she is the founder and CEO of Showpo, uber successful, self-made. Jane, 8:30, wakes up, splashes water on her face, gets coffee and breakfast, goes to work at 9:30. And I was like, I just love the flex that we're always sold this, like you have to be up, your bed has to be made by 4 a.m. You have to have meditated, you have to have journaled. And she's living proof. And I love the fact that she's like, I literally do nothing and I am still successful.
This is something that I loved talking to Mark Manson, who wrote the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, on the most recent episode of him on Cloud. And we were talking about morning routines and productivity. And for us, we were talking about it in line with ADHD. But I remember when I was doing breakfast radio and it was almost this competition of who had the biggest struggle because who got the least amount of sleep, who had to get up the earliest. Like all of the journalists that work within that network would have to get up a lot earlier than us. And we had to get up really bloody early. Like they were up between 2:30 and 3:30, I think most of their wake up calls were. And it almost seemed to be this like battle between who had it the worst, so therefore who worked the hardest, you know? And for me, it was just so weird having this really early alarm always in line with it meant that you were a really hard worker.
Mm.
And chatting with Mark Manson, he was kind of like, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. Like, I don't get up at the crack of dawn and like hit my hardest task first and try and get all these things done. He was like, I have to kind of ease into my morning and, you know, I'll ease in by doing the smaller tasks first and lead up to the bigger ones. And
This was literally a question I wrote down for this conversation. I was like, is this just now a new sense of competition?
Yeah.
Which it just is. And when you think about all the things that we compete in when it comes to hustle culture, when it comes to anti-aging, when it comes into like, it is just another competition. And I know that the content is fascinating, but I do think it kind of sets this conversation around like, well, what are you doing with your morning to be the best version of yourself?
Well, it is time for Suck and Sweet, our highlight and our low light of the week. I will kick it off, breaking the rules. I don't care what you say. My face is my suck. My series of unfortunate events that have unfolded the week before I'm supposed to go and have sex with my fiance is my suck.
They're partly my sweet because they're made for good stories. I mean, I don't want you to have like, you know, a bacterial infection.
My
on your
thrush
face.
is your sweet. And to be honest, I don't have thrush yet. I think it'll come tomorrow
Yet.
because I've just started my antibiotics.
Impending thrush.
I am going to rush down and I am going to buy some thrush cream.
What is your sweet for the week?
My sweet was on Saturday. I got a message from my friend who lives in London, Laurie. Love you. She does it to me every time though. I got a message from her being like, hey, babes, coming back. I'll be there on Sunday. Can I stay for a while? And I was like, yeah, you can stay on Sunday. Thinking, I was like, of course, you're always welcome.
Laurie sounds like a vibe, but I do not understand people
Laurie
who.
sounds like a
No,
vibe.
because it's crazy to me that she comes from England. She comes from overseas and just randomly texts and goes, hey, I'll be there in a day. Like that is like the most extreme version of someone rocking up at your house without an invite.
Yes. And you might remember this is the same girl I spoke about that did this like 6 or 8 months ago, last time she came to visit. We've been friends forever. We lived together in London. But I was like, yeah, of course, thinking that I had a week to prepare. She meant Sundays in like 10 hours. She's like, cool, I'm in Dubai at the moment. And I was like, sorry. I was like, you mean Sunday like tomorrow? She's like, yeah. I was like, in 10 hours. She's like, yeah. I said, what time do you arrive? She's like, 6 a.m. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to bed now. I was
I'll
like,
see you in 5 hours.
I was like, so you mean 5 hours time? And she's like, correct. And I was like, cool. Doesn't matter because it doesn't affect my life. She comes and goes and I don't have kids and I've got a room for her. It doesn't matter. But it's always funny that she blows in on my doorstep. I woke up. I just left a key out. I didn't even get up. I woke up in the morning and she was there on the lounge with Delilah. And I was like, this is actually brilliant. So my sweet is the fact that I had a surprise visit from a friend that I have been friends with forever. And it was just so nice to have someone else in my house. We were having dinner together. We've been having a great little time. So that's
having
my
nice
sip.
company.
I dropped her off today. She's gone.
Bye, Laurie.
Bye, Laurie. It's nice to see. She'll be back.
she's probably just messaged the person that she's going to stay at the house of tonight.
That's what she would do, bless her soul. But she's the kind of person that everyone would have at any time, you know.
Well, my sweet for the week, I'm also breaking the rules with it being work and shop related. I'm literally leaving here now to go to the other store because we've closed our Paddington store for 3 weeks while we renovate that one. So there's nothing like managing 3 renovations at the one time.
I don't want to say it, self-inflicted.
Yeah, I'm the only person I can blame for this. And I did it the wrong way around. That was my sweet.
Yeah, you do fuck everything up.
Whatever.
Just go back to the sock. We don't care. We love you. Go to the sock now.
My suck for the week is so obviously like guys, we've been doing this renovation, speaking of renovations, at our Ulladulla house, like the house Shanta.mer.house if you're not following it on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's been a fun reno project. All I want for this house is for it to be fucking fun and wacky. It's a holiday house.
And also finished.
And
'Cause it's been
finished. I
going
want it
for
to
a
be
long time.
done. We've really lent into this maxi minimalist kind of theme and I am fucking loving it. Like I love the house. It's come together so well.
It looks cool.
We posted one of the bathroom reveals, it is shocking to me how angry some people get about renovation content when it's a renovation that they don't like.
Not really shocking because you have rage baited and you talk about rage baiting.
Yeah,
so
but
you
this
can't
one-
be shocked that they're raging.
This one wasn't even a rage bait. This was just like, hey guys, here's our bathroom. And then people were like, F you for fucking the bathroom, you fucking f. And I was like, it's my bathroom.
Can we beep those out? That's a lot of swearing.
And I was like, and this one woman wrote, she was like, I would never choose to stay here because of the aesthetic. And I was like, Lisa, girlfriend, chill. You're
not invited.
It's my house. You can't come stay. That would be weird.
I wouldn't even take a dump in that bathroom. I'd rather take a dump in my ex's car.
Here is the Daily Mail article which sent me, guys. Here's the headline.
There's an article in your bathroom?
Yes. Laura Byrne slammed for ugly bathroom renovation.
Slow news week.
Looks
wasn't
like
it?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on acid. And it does. And I fucking love it, guys.
Why is
Keisha,
so
you're
many...
looking at me with pity.
It's because so much content about you, for some reason, people just associate acid with a lot of it. You were the praying mantis on acid on Dancing with the Stars, and now you're Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on acid.
Guys,
There is a theme.
I've moved past that part of my life. Maybe it's because I come across as a bit scatty to some people.
Maybe.
I think I come across as a bit like, woo.
I do think you give that vibe.
Yeah. I don't do acid, everyone, just to make it real clear in case there's been
Can confirm that.
any confusion here. But the house is almost finished. And look, the renovation is coming together so well. But it is genuinely shocking to me how many people have absolutely gotten irate in the comment section. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of people who like it, but there's also a good dose of people who don't. But the thing that's crazy to me is how many of them are, and I don't want to be pointed, but it is something that I think we all need to be aware of at times. Why is it that some of the most vocally angry people are women who are from, I would say, like mid 40s or late 30s until they're, 60s? I'm like, why is this demographic of women feel as though it's okay to be rude on social media and like just air their opinions? And I know that it's like we ask for people to give their opinions, like we're absolutely fine with it, but there's like a nice way of communicating your opinion, being like, hey,
Not for me.
hey, good for you, that's your bathroom, but not for me, I don't like it, it's not my style. Totally fine. Writing to someone telling them that it's the fucking ugly bathroom is just rude. And I'm like, it's so uncalled for, Susan.
Sorry, is it Susan or Karen? Pick your mind.
No, there was a Susan and there was a Lisa.
Oh, Lisa.
Yeah, but
sorry.
there was a few of them. There was a few of them, guys.
I think you have to expect it when you're literally asking for an opinion. You have to expect that people aren't going to like it, but it's definitely the way that they say it. You don't have to be that rude and nasty. You can just be like, yep, not for me, don't love this, don't love the color palette, because you've asked for it, so people are going to say it. But you don't have to
100%.
like DM privately.
I think that there is a line when you ask for people's opinions and you ask for people's engagement. Don't get me wrong. Like, I genuinely love that account has created such conversation. Like, it's got like 700 comments. People really are engaged in reno content and people feel really passionately about it. But people also have very passionate ideas around having something that's got resale value, that doesn't go too outside the box, because, you don't want to have anything that's too polarizing, because then you're going to affect selling the house down the line. And I'm like, wouldn't it be nice if we were all just able to design a house based on our own style and the things that we like, and a room that sparks a bit of joy, even if it's weird and you might not like it?
Personally, I would just like to see the house. We were invited for Christmas last year. They was very optimistic at how quickly you were going to finish that. You were like, guys, it'll be done by Chrissy. We'll be in. We'll have a great weekend down there.
We're going to have summer.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas in
We're
July.
going to have an awesome winter down there in the coastal home. So, like, that's coming.
Christmas 2025.
I can't wait to use your fucking ugly bathroom.
Yeah, I'm going to dump
That's
in that.
my ensuite. You will not use it anyway. You can use the one downstairs, which is way fucking uglier. So you wait till people see that one. Anyway, guys, look, if you love the episode or you want to leave us a review, let us know what you think of things. Do it fucking kindly. And
Tell us that you like the bathroom.
You can jump onto Apple Podcasts. You can also jump onto Spotify. You can jump onto YouTube, wherever you're watching it.
A lot
There's
of jumping.
ways for you to join in the conversation. Or you can also join our Facebook discussion group, which is Life Uncut Discussion Group.
Don't forget, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, tell your friends, and share the love, because
We love love!